Hello there, everyone, and welcome to Movies Are Real for the month of November 2K18. I am your host, George. I am here with Ryan Lance. Ryan wearing flannel and shorts in the wintertime. Lance?
I'm not wearing shorts. I just peeled my jeans up to make them feel like shorts.
I like that you used the word peeled.
Yeah. Like it's some sort of like skin layer.
I'm sorry that like my body is like weird with temperature, okay? Like we all know this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fact.
Karrie Lyles. Karrie, how are you?
I'm fine. Didn't have to do anything weird to my pants in order to be here on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But you did have to bring a summer edition Red Bull.
I'm trying to look on the bright side. I found it in the back of my fridge. All right.
Ryan, it's not November, it's December.
It's true.
You idiot!
Oh, God.
Because this is the podcast where we talk about the movies of the month prior and what we're looking forward to the next month.
You see, I didn't fuck up. That was an intentional segue.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Happy holidays, everyone. Happy, I was going to say Thanksgiving, but that's already gone.
It's also an American holiday.
It is an American holiday.
Also, it's kind of built on some shitty things.
Yeah, it's not the best holiday. You know what? It's not great.
I feel like if you think of like half of all holidays, they're kind of built on some background. Like this is kind of shitty, actually.
Yeah.
What about Arbor Day, Ryan?
Fuck trees, am I right?
Shout out to the colonizers. They didn't do anything bad.
Nope.
Yep.
They
Anyways.
just politely asked all those people to leave.
Uh-huh.
And they did.
They invited them over for dinner, Ryan.
One time over the course of several years.
They ate popcorn, I think, according to my education.
According to a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, where Woodstock and Snoopy make popcorn and
Oh,
toast.
shit.
Anyways, we're here to talk about the movies of November. George Cruz did not watch anything except one movie on this list. But I'm excited to hear about some of these, like Bohemian Rhapsody, which I had no idea. Bryan Singer was helming this. If I knew that ahead of... Well, if I knew that Bryan Singer had anything to do with this ahead of time, I would have been even less enthused, because this movie sort of had, like, this is the biopic on Freddie Mercury, and it's just sort of had a development hell.
Yeah, it's been in development for like 10 years.
Yeah, like, so, like, it's sort of like they've always wanted to do one, but like it's the producer or the director and the lead actor.
The star, yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Everyone drops out, and the writers, and it's a
So,
litany of woes.
Bryan Singer, quote unquote, and Dexter Fletcher?
He's the one who
He's the gun for hire. He came in.
But it's credited... From my understanding, Bryan Singer basically didn't do anything.
Bryan Singer vision.
Yeah. He envisioned directing it, didn't actually do it, a lot like how I envisioned taking a nice cool drink of my Propel kiwi strawberry.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Not doing anything problematic or
Nope.
disgusting or
Nope.
pretty horrible. That's for sure.
Or even just directing a bad X-Men movie.
I was going to make a joke. That probably would have been in bad taste. So
That would have been...
I'm glad I didn't.
You see, the galaxy brain is like you got, like, that's the worst.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
X-Men movies are much worse than anything Bryan Singer's ever done.
So did you both see Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yes.
Okay.
At, like, there's like a 3-week difference though
Yeah.
when we saw them. I saw it on like Thanksgiving Day, and it was surprisingly packed.
Yeah, that
That's
checks
not
out.
surprising.
Yeah, people watch movies on Thanksgiving.
It is, but like it was like such a long time since it came out. It was just surprising to me that like all those people like waited, or like we might as well
Probably
see this
didn't even know it was out.
3-hour movie again.
Yeah. Karrie, I'm interested in your perspective, because you went to see it with a good friend of ours who is a massive, massive Queen fan. One Greg Dodson. So I'd expect him to be... Well, actually, I don't even know how you feel about Queen, Karrie.
I like Queen a lot.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I'm like a mega... Well, they're one of my favorite artists, but I don't know all the ins and outs.
Sure.
I wouldn't call myself an expert.
I would say, like, most people are probably, like, baseline, Queen is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. But yeah, I know that Greg was extremely excited about it because he's been following all of the development hell. Like, he was as hyped for it now as he was like 10 years ago when it was announced. So every time something would be a setback, he's like, fuck, it's never gonna happen. And then when it finally happened, he was like, it's finally happening. So I think he decided that he was gonna like it no matter what. But that's not to say that it's a bad movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a lot. The first time I watched it, I was kind of iffy on it, and then we saw it again, and I liked it more. But that might just be because I am getting the vibes from Greg enjoying it so much.
Gotcha. Rami Malek, of course, is now the leading as Freddie Mercury here. Just from the trailers, it looks like incredibly good casting. Yeah.
He does a great job.
So yeah, I guess, is it good? Well, actually, you say you're not an expert, but do you know enough to know that maybe this feels a little bit rose-tinted glasses, not as...
I would say that a lot of the stuff seems like it's like a lot of events are altered for convenience for the sake of this movie to have an arc and a narrative. Like I don't think that because like the bookends of this movie is them leading up to the Live Aid performance,
right?
And they sort of frame him being diagnosed as like the propellant that brings them back together for Live Aid, but I don't think that that's how it happened sequentially.
But that's a thing we can attach to be our through line.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So some of it feels a little punched up for dramatic effect, but I mean that's kind of just
that's how these
par for the course for
a film.
Sure.
Well, that's par for the course for a biopic movie,
especially
like,
put out by a huge studio.
Yeah, you have to. So like when stuff is changed from how I would imagine it would happen in real life. Like in the movie, it seems like whenever they have an argument, the argument gets stopped by someone starting a riff from one of the iconic songs, and it's like, you know
guys,
what,
let's
stay
stop
together.
fighting. Because
You
I
know,
just
like,
have this hit song.
Yeah, the one that I think of is when they're all arguing, and then Deacon, the bass player, goes over and sits down. It's like dun dun dun. Dun, 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 dun. And they're like, oh, that's a really cool riff. And then they're like, all right, let's
write a song about that riff.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a great riff.
It is. It's very good.
But yeah, so some of it feels very corny and paint by the numbers-y and questionable, but
it's fine still.
I would say that it's fine, but I'm not.
You're not as much of an expert on Queen to really
definitively
be like, this is an accurate judgment of what they're like.
That, and I'm just like, listen, I'm just here to have a good time.
It's also interesting because if I was a cynical studio person, I think the music of Queen has been so commercialized and sort of just unavoidable that the barrier of entry to someone like Straight Outta Compton was a movie I really liked, but the thing is like, they're a rap group, and rap isn't as popular as something like the people who made We Will Rock You. Right. Like, the barrier to entry, like, this is the story about the people who made We Will Rock You, like, Another One Bites the Dust. Like, if you don't know who Freddie Mercury is, like, the barrier to entry is a little bit low, so I'd imagine I could see them making it extremely watered down. Ryan, how did you feel about it?
I feel like it's a very okay kind of film. Like, I feel like if you had, like, it's so weird, because if you took the Queen out of it and just like, this is the story of like one person, it'd just be like the music, I mean, it'd feel like very like slow and like frustrating, and like with these big time leaps where it's like, all right, so I guess this is how they're living their life now. It's very weird. Like the whole thing where him and his wife, or were they ever married? I can't even remember.
I think she was just fiance. I don't know
just
if they ever
fiance.
actually got. I don't know.
They broke up, and then he has this mansion, and she lives just one house down, and he has this new partner, and that's just like a gap that happens, and it's like, okay, that's a lot for like that. I just need like okay, this is what's happening now, and then like, whenever there was a gap like that, I always feel like, okay, what's going on here? And why should I like Freddie Mercury? He just seems like an asshole. And all of his motives, everything he does just feels like weirdly questionable. So it just feels like they're trying to make him out to be an asshole at sometimes. And then like he just redeems himself at the end of it just because like either he's a genius, like, oh, Freddie, you fucking suck, but my God, that voice. It's
get results.
You get results. And especially felt that way towards the end. I don't know. It just felt like and again, it's a film. It needs to clean up simply and easily. So it's like, all right, well, we forgive you. So it's all good. Yeah. And I feel like the big part of the movie for me that people are like the standout moment that I'm like, what? Like the Live Aid thing.
It was so good. Like the last, like I it seems like Ryan's setting it up to be like he didn't think it was cool or well, I think that they do like almost an exact replica of the full Live Aid performance at the very end of the film. It's like almost the full bodied performance, and I thought it was awesome. I enjoyed it very much.
Karrie, it's awesome because it's just watching a Queen concert.
But it's cool to watch it and be like, wow, they really committed and embodied this performance.
Right.
And
they're recreating the moment.
It is cool, but like when I was watching that, I was like, am I just watching the concert? Because like that's time that could have been done just like explaining more weird like
I think that's
plot
a fair
holes.
argument.
And also because like the whole thing with Queen is people remember Freddie Mercury, but none of the other people, and they all live their own lives, and they're all still alive, and I believe they're all still doing stuff today.
I don't think Deacon's alive.
Deacon's not alive. Okay.
I saw Queen last summer, and Brian May and Roger Taylor were both performing with them still, and Adam Lambert was on the vocals. He did excellent.
But I think that's fair. If you're again mapping out a film, you would. I think the easy way, like, well, we can just do that again, and you can still do it good. But I can see. I think I see where you're coming from.
It's just I want to. It's about like Queen, and as
but I also get that it sounds cool as hell to see it.
As Freddie awesome. Mercury is, and like how like interesting he is as a person, and even like as the character that Rami Malek plays, like he really does do like a great performance. I'm very like lukewarm on this film, but like his performance is like
really good,
really like spectacular. It's really the standout thing.
Yeah,
but it again just feels like they're just washing over the other members of this group. Like there's this one guy who I think he's like the bassist guy. He like never speaks.
According to Greg, that's like accurate to their dynamic as a band. That Deacon was just kind of there and wasn't very outspoken and was just there to make funny faces. So like I thought he had a lot of the like his funny faces were a lot of really good punchlines and stuff. But from my understanding, that's just kind of how he was as a dynamic in the group.
And that does make sense, but like from the perspective of someone who doesn't like know that just feels like, okay, so he's just like the fucking like the Crete of this fucking band, like the supporting character who's just like there, but like no one understands why. Like Crete's like, why did Crete work there? Like, what does he bring to the table, really? Yeah, I felt really lukewarm about it.
Okay.
However, one weird thing is I was watching this with my parents, and as we were leaving, my mom was like, I did not know he was gay. Did they make that up for the movie?
Okay.
I was like, Mommy died from AIDS. She's from that generation. Yeah. She should know.
Oh dear.
Yes.
I remember there was this girl who I was talking to when we were visiting down in Oklahoma, and we were both really excited for this movie to come out, and she's like, oh, I love Freddie Mercury so much. And then me and our friend Zach were talking about what's the guy from Judas Priest's name?
Oh, fuck, I know this.
I do not know this.
Shit. I'll look it up.
Judas?
Nope.
Beast.
But Zach said something, and he was like, oh, I actually started singing Judas Priest instead of Queen. And I was like, oh, well, you know, Freddie Mercury, that guy, both loud, both gay. And that girl was like, Freddie Mercury was gay? And I was like,
Rob Halford.
Rob Halford, that's right. And she's like, Freddie Mercury was gay? And I was like, yes. I didn't know this was a big surprise. I didn't mean to out Freddie Mercury posthumously to this girl.
All right. Well, so it sounds like it's okay.
One thing I like how Freddie Mercury had a lot of cats. That was great.
I did think that you would enjoy that.
That was great. When the movie began, he had like a cat rooms, and I was like, oh, this guy gets it.
I loved how they shouted out Delilah, because there's that one Queen song where it just sounds like a love song, and it's called Delilah, and then in the middle of the song, he's just like, meow. It's like, oh, this is about a cat.
Also, this movie really washed over Killer Queen, my personal favorite Queen song. So fuck this movie.
They took my personal favorite Queen song, which
Put
is
it over a very sad part.
It's from fucking Highlander, so it's also
Who Wants to
funny.
Live Forever?
Yeah, I love that song. That's my favorite one. And then as soon as they started playing it the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, fucking damn it. Because I already get sad listening to that song because the scene that it's used in Highlander is very sad. And then now it's this, and it's like...
Also, I just remember this. A certain famous actor cameo. I absolutely hated that.
I thought it was pretty funny.
It's funny to the point where it's like, oh yeah, I'm watching a fucking movie right now.
I get that a lot of people agree with you and thought that it was a mistake and thought that it was dumb, but
because
it seems like too much of a caricature.
Because first off, I didn't recognize him at first because they put him in like
I
fucking Tom Hanks and Tropic Thunder Make. I was like, is that what's happening here? Is this
Tom Hanks?
Tom Cruise, sorry. Now that would have been fucking great. Tom Cruise and Tropic Thunder was, but it was like the second time would like they cut to him and he's just like, oh, I can't believe Bohemian Rhapsody took off. I'm just a fucking idiot.
It's funny that Mike Myers says the line, no one's ever going to be headbanging in a car to Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like, because it's Wayne's World.
Yeah, Karrie.
It's funny. It's funny, Ryan.
Yeah. Funny.
You like to laugh,
stuff.
Ryan.
funny stuff.
Anyway, we got a lot of movies to get to. So
we
we're going to
do.
move on to something that I cannot fucking believe I missed, and I'm upset about it. Suspiria.
Nutcracker. Suspiria.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, there's a lot of hype for this movie.
A lot of
How do you
snubs at the
Luca?
Golden
How do you
Globe.
pronounce his last name?
Oh, gosh. I would guess Guadagnino?
Okay.
Guadagnino?
Director
If
for
I'm
Call
just
Me by Your
reading it.
Name.
Yeah.
Remake of the Dario
1977.
Argento film,
Yeah.
which I did. I saw the original. I didn't see the new one.
It's very good.
Yeah, I guess. Let me know. I don't know. Like, did it live up to the hype?
I was talking about the original one. It's very good.
Oh, okay. Cool.
This one is fucking awesome.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
I fucking love it.
Jesus.
No,
I
the guinea-
fucking love it.
the guinea pigs are great. Ryan, you tell me about this movie while I go fix it.
So, Suspiria, basically Dakota Johnson, one of George's favorite people on the planet. She's this American woman, and she goes to this dance academy in Berlin. Yes, I was thinking France, but I also watched Personal Shopper today, so I think that's why I was thinking of that.
Just another Friday for Ryan Lynch.
I was wrapping Christmas presents, and that was on Showtime Woman at my parents' house, and I was like, fuck yeah. She goes to a prestigious dance academy in Berlin, Germany, and some crazy stuff is going on.
Where was
I'll
it in
tell
the
you.
original? It was in Berlin.
Yeah.
Was
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but okay.
It
sure.
was a Spanish. Was it? It was.
Definitely wasn't Spanish.
It was. Well, I know it's just weird the original because like they dubbed it
Yeah.
in English.
Oh, that's why it looks like
the
that.
audio is all weird.
That's why it
they,
looks like that.
They would have, because it's like mostly Italian actors, I believe.
It is Italian. It is
Yeah.
Italian.
And then they would just speak their lines in Italian, and
Yeah.
then they would go in and dub it
That
over
makes
with
sense
the
because Dario
English.
Argento is an Italian director. Okay.
I remember when I first was watching that when I was texting
Yeah.
Karrie and I was like,
Is
Am
the
I-
sound supposed to be fucked up? And I'm like, yeah, that's a thing.
I was like, oh, okay. But she goes to this prestigious dance academy. She meets the wonderful Tilda Swinton, who plays three equally great characters.
When I saw this with Greg, and when we were on our way home, I told him, I was like, I didn't tell him beforehand because you had told me, and so I knew. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, Tilda Swinton played the old man too." And he's like, "No, she didn't." I was like, "Yeah, she did." And he was like, "No, he just didn't believe me." He was like, "Prove it." And I
That's a
did.
great Greg impression. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't change my voice at all.
No, but the way you said no.
No.
No. Anyways, yeah.
Basically, she begins being this prodigy in this dance academy.
Yeah.
And some crazy antics ensue. It's been a while, and this movie's a fucking like trip, so
movie-
it's hard for me to remember like the middle parts. I remember like the beginning and
There
like
is-
the fucking end.
Yeah, there is a ton going on in this
Oh
movie.
yeah.
It's
oh
crazy.
yeah.
So I had to see it a second time, and I was like, I'm still confused, but I get it a little more.
It seems definitely more out there than the original somehow.
Yeah.
The original...
From just seeing the trailer, like I can recognize scenes from the original, but also like this seems just so much more involved.
It feels extreme. Like it doesn't feel like the same movie as the original at all. It just feels like the same setting and
Just
the same
visually, it
idea.
doesn't look the same.
It's a similar like concept, but like
the
turned
setup
up to like a Mandy level of like craziness, which I love. Oh god.
Yeah, I don't want to get too deep in it because I don't want to spoil it for George, but it's pretty good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it a lot.
It's my personal favorite of the year. So
Alright.
Dang.
I hope it goes on Amazon quickly because it's an Amazon junk.
Yeah.
You were telling me about that article that was like people who loved A Girl Walks Home Alone at night
and
let the right one in.
It's like
would love it.
Jesus
And I was watching
Christ.
it, I was like, I fucking get it, and I fucking love interpretive dance now. This is great.
Alright.
The scene, the only like real scene I'm gonna like slightly spoil, just so I can like, the first murder scene when Dakota Johnson is dancing.
The contortion scene.
The contortion.
Let's
Let's call it the contortion scene. The longest, most brutal beatdown of a person I feel like I've ever seen. At least like in a long while. Like the movie begins very like, like very like nothing really happens that's like makes you like understand like how far this movie is willing to go, and then that scene happens and you're like, oh. If this is how they're gonna start, I wonder how they're gonna end. This movie's fucking awesome.
All right. I'm very excited.
Crazy. Although I still don't understand it, but it's an Amazon Studios film, which thankfully they changed the Amazon Studios logo
That was one of the best parts.
very slightly to make it less
garbage.
to make it less out of touch with the general concept of what was going on.
I remember when I saw the movie, and the Amazon logo came up, and it looks like hand sketched, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, they changed it from the theater to
Well, it's still the theater, but they just made it look like a hand sketch of it, like a pencil drawing.
It's still like, oh, that's a bad.
It's still tacky,
that's a
but
bad
it's not
render.
really bad.
I saw an Amazon Prime van today, and I really did not enjoy that sight. It was right by your house, Ryan. I was driving to the grocery store. I was like, I want to die.
I've had things delivered by an Amazon Prime van.
Oh, man. I thought we were safe here in the middle of the country.
Nope.
Anyways, I'm excited
Yes.
to watch it. But I think
Yes.
that's all that will be said. I'm sure that there'll be more words said about it come best of.
Speaking of best of,
So,
Karrie, lay down why you watch
people
Nutcracker
invest in
before
movies,
tale.
and then those
But
movies
do
come
it without
out.
telling us what the movie's about.
Well.
So there's some mouses, and by mouses I mean mice.
That is the plural term, George. Thank fucking God.
Well, I
journalism
mean,
boy.
see, no, George is actually correct because there
There's
was
a mouse
a
king.
bunch of mice that come together and form one giant mouse, and they battle it, which is shockingly upsetting looking for this Disney film. I was unnerved by this giant rat monster. Yep.
All right, so the next film.
There's a
but
little girl. She
basically-
turns small.
No, she doesn't turn small in this.
So, do you guys know anything?
No.
going into this
Vaguely, it's been
about the
years.
Nutcracker?
It's been years.
Oh,
Because-
we talked about it last time, and I said that I had a coloring book, and I'll fucking say it. The coloring book was better.
The coloring book, it fucking slapped. I'll tell you what. Because the only thing I knew about Nutcrackers was selling them at the Christian craft store I worked at in high school, and people would be like, I fucking love these things, and I'm like, please leave.
Just take your Nutcracker and leave, Beatrice. All right. So yeah, it's this guy, his wife is dead, and he's got all these kids that he doesn't know what to do with, and they go to this Christmas party.
Keira
and
Knightley's in this.
Morgan Freeman's the scientist man, and then the main girl, you might know her as the freaky baby from Twilight.
Oh my god!
She is all antisocial, and the dad's like, "You gotta hang out at the party."
Yeah,
She's
her
like,
her parents
"No."
are vampires. That's understandable.
But so basically, there's this whole thing at this Christmas party where she has this thing that was passed down to her by her mom, but she can't open it. There's no key. And then there's this part of the Christmas party where Morgan Freeman, the scientist, sets up all these ribbons, and you have to follow it to get to your gift. And her ribbon, in a Narnia-esque way, takes her through these trees, and she ends up in this winter world, and she's trying to find the key. And then there's the 4 realms. One of them is led by Keira Knightley, and she's the Sugar Plum Fairy. And then there's 2 other realms that are led by other people who I don't remember. And then the 4th realm is like the circus realm, but they're like, that's the bad realm.
This sounds bad.
We all float in this realm, right? Oh god.
But yeah,
It is a movie, it sounds like.
So what?
It gave me
what
very.
happens?
She goes into the
Is there a
Nutcracker
war?
world,
Do they
and
fight?
she's trying to find the key to open her, because the key gets she gets to the key and it's tied on a tree, but then it gets taken by the rat and taken into the circus realm, and then she finds out about how they're not supposed to go to the circus realm, and then Keira Knightley's like, you should hang out with us. Your mother came here all the time. So it's very Alice in Wonderland, where she's like, oh my god, my mother was here. I have to put together all these things. I can't go to the circus realm, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this whole plot that happens, I guess you could say. And then it turns out that Keira Knightley was actually the bad guy, and she was just blaming the circus realm lady, played by Helen Mirren, for starting.
This is giving me Snow White and the Huntsman vibes.
I never saw that.
Yeah.
But
all right, well,
the best part about this movie is there is a sequence when she first gets there where she is being led around by Keira Knightley and kind of given her the rundown of the realms and everything, and they sit down and they watch a performance that is encompassing like the history of the realms and what happens, and it's this pretty cool, big, grand ballet performance, and I enjoyed watching that. And then over the credits, there was more ballet footage. So when they really go for it and do ballet, it's very cool looking, and it's choreographed well, and it's interesting, but everything else is just really stupid. And Keira Knightley is being extra as hell. And she's like, talking like this the whole movie, and she's Sugar Plum Fairy. And it's like, I am annoyed. I hate this. But it's mostly boring.
all right, well, that's all I need to know.
It's weird how Disney is like the biggest company in the world, but whenever they make like their own live action films, it's like the worst shit that no one wants to see. Cause like all the things that they own that like make a lot of money is like some other studio. Like they own Marvel, they own Lucas, they own Pixar.
And the live action stuff are their own properties.
Yeah.
Is the only big thing that makes money.
Yeah, and it's just it's so weird. Like why? Like that's what I thought when I saw this. I saw the trailer at first. I was like, why? Yeah.
Especially like, don't they have Wreck-It Ralph coming out?
Yeah.
And they have, what else? Is there anything else?
They have like a dozen other Disney movies that they could have made a live action.
This seems so like unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. Anyways, that's all I need to talk about that. Widows is the next movie on this list by Steve McQueen, who made 12 Years a Slave. Did he do Gran Torino?
The only other movie I know that he did was Shane.
That was him?
I think so.
I saw a bit of that movie, and I saw Michael Fassbender jerk off.
Nice.
And I was like, I like this movie.
And, what's her name? Daisy from the Great Gatsby remake.
Carrie Mulligan.
Carrie Mulligan. Yeah, she's in that movie as well.
I like her.
Anyways, so yeah, Viola Davis got a pretty good cast here. I don't know anything about this. The trailers did not scream Steve McQueen to me. Like it didn't seem like there's a level of quality that I expect, but I assume I only heard good things from this movie, so I assume I'm just mistaken from the trailer. It didn't do anything for me. Did you both see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I guess Ryan, tell me about Widows.
Yeah, so basically it follows these 3 widows. All their husbands were part of this.
Where does it take place, by the way?
Heist
I'm gonna guess
gang.
Chicago.
I think it is Chicago.
I don't remember.
Okay.
You can look it up on. I try to remember
look
the
it up,
plot. But basically, a heist goes wrong and all of the husbands die, and all the women, because their husbands were kind of didn't have great social standing, their kind of lives start to crumble, and they all decide like. Viola Davis, she was married to Liam Neeson, and she found plans of his for one last heist, and she was like, "All right, I'm going to do this heist with these other women because I assume that they're having it rough too, and we're all gonna take this. We're all gonna do this. We're all gonna get this money, and we're gonna get out of our bad situations that we've been put into after our husbands died."
Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's a heist film more focused on like the personal turmoil of the characters, but that turmoil definitely feels more focused on Viola Davis than the others, which I get because she's like a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
So like that's a very smart thing to do, but I feel like Gina I can't pronounce her name.
Rodriguez.
Yes, I feel like her character was definitely the least like explored.
Yeah.
I mean, her arc was like more simple. Like she had like this shop that was taken from her, and then she's like, "Well, well, it's gone now." Oh, the extra 4th character that just kind of joins in. That's actually the least focused character.
Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah.
She was the one from Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yes.
I love her.
She's very good. But I didn't know what her character was doing in this movie.
Running.
Yeah. And Elizabeth Debicki, very tall woman.
Yeah.
Which, like, you'd think, like, oh, she's tall, but, like, dude, when you see the movie, George, you're like...
She goes to, like, a flea market, basically, and she's, like, a group, like, a tent full of hundreds of people, and she's just taller than all of them. It's amazing.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I had seen her in Cloverfield Paradox, but I spaced out on that movie, but this is the first time that I've actually seen her.
She was also the Golden
doing
Woman
things.
in Guardian of the Galaxy, Volume 3.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
You mean 2?
2.
The like, real proper...
The real proper lady,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, Karrie, how do you feel? Yeah.
I liked this movie a lot, but a lot of it, for a while, I was confused because it was extremely dense. It seemed like, because there's the plot with the widows planning and attempting to carry out this heist, but then there's also this political drama that's happening where Colin Farrell is playing this guy who is running for office in this precinct that they're in against some other guy, and meanwhile Daniel Kaluuya is murdering people, and I don't know why he was doing that. And so there's just a lot of threads that come together at the end, and you start to figure out why. But for a while there,
in the middle, it feels
thick of
like
it, you're just like, what is happening?
Because like you have the widows, and they're like the central thing, and then it's like you think that there should be something like, oh, there should be like the Colin Farrell side or the Daniel Kaluuya side, but they're both kind of shitty people, and they're shitty to the widows for different reasons. So you're just like, what the fuck's going on here?
This is Daniel Kaluuya's second shitty character he's played this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he gives a really good performance.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
yeah.
He's
Just a
extremely
dickhead.
menacing, but I just don't understand. Like, I kind of get it, because he was like I don't want to say lackey, but like the sidekick to the guy that Colin Farrell was running against, if I remember. Like, there was
He was the brother.
Like okay.
They were brothers.
All right. Because he was like the like reverend character. He was like a religious person, I think, or something.
I don't know if they were like super religious. I think that they were
remember.
trying to like get the reverend to like endorse them, but I don't.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's why I was confused.
It was a very faith-based community, George.
Yeah.
Mm.
And was it Colin Farrell's side who had started all the like surface level like he had like all these things of people from the community, and he like gave them money to start their own businesses.
He started a program to encourage I believe it was women of color to be small business owners.
Yeah.
And he came from this wealthy family that kind of has some shady past.
Yeah, the dad is all.
There is one scene that I really like, just like when he gives that speech and he is like, these are all the women who've like I've helped in the community. They like give their speech, and then like gets in the car and he drives. It's like this long shot of him driving through that shitty neighborhood,
cool. Mm-hmm.
and then like he turns the corner and it's this fucking rich ass, nice ass neighborhood. And he's like, finally back home. It's like, man, the world sucks, doesn't it?
That sounds like Chicago.
It's like and
it's like all one shot. It's
the shot where it's like
really
the
good.
Camera's positioned on like the hood of the car, looking at the window, and you can't really make him. It's like him and his
assistant.
Yeah, like whoever helps him with his campaign and everything. You can't really see them, but you just hear them arguing, and it's really cool. I did like that sequence a lot.
It sounds cool.
My main thing with this movie, and I don't want to spoil it, but there is a twist with any Gillian Flynn product. There's always that one like twist that really like turns everything on its head, and it's typically very good. From what I've seen of like Sharp Objects and Gone Girl, like she's very good at twists. But with this movie, there's the twist, and then they kind of sit on it for a bit, but it doesn't like do anything with the plot. Like it just kind of keeps going on. It's not until like the very end where it just like slightly becomes a problem, but it's really just like, you know, not a big deal in the end. I mean, like it's emotional for like the characters, but it doesn't, because it doesn't like have a central like, it's not targeted at, like it's not like a driving force like halts their progress. It's just a thing happening that's mentally affecting one of the characters who's already having it the worst. Yeah. So it doesn't make me feel like she's going to back out because, you know, she has no choice to do the heist. So it's not like one other serious thing is going to like stop her.
Right.
I feel like that I don't know if that was like what they were trying to do, but it was just it was a weird twist that came out of nowhere that wasn't that interesting, and then they just kind of sat on it, and it was just weird. And also, what happened to Viola Davis' son, I felt was kind of a little.
It was good, but it felt tacked on.
It felt very tacked on. And
yeah, I forgot about that until just now.
That was one of the things I was like, that felt like it was trying to push some buttons.
Yeah.
And like, I get why it was there because
it makes sense.
It makes sense, and like that's something I would get. But it's just I don't know if you could put something like that in a movie as like a bit thing. Yeah. Without it feeling tacked on, even if it is an important thing for the characters.
All right.
Well, it is very good.
How long is it?
It's fucking long. It's fucking long. It's really fucking long. It's very good. It's just not what the trailers make it out to be. And I think that's good.
It is good. I think it's more interesting than the trailers make it out to be, because there's a lot more going on than group of women doing a heist out of vengeance.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I got out of it. I was like, this is okay. This seems so not... There doesn't seem like there's a lot of depth to this just from the trailer.
It's all depth and kind of little heist.
Hashtag deep.
Oh, okay.
I know. I thought it was very okay. Like it was like it's objectively like very good, but like it didn't really do anything for me or resonate anything with me.
Yeah, I kind of feel similarly. Like I thought it was really good, but
I don't feel like it's gonna be the award-winning thing that I feel like it's trying to be.
Maybe
like
not.
Maybe
for performances.
Maybe I can see Viola Davis winning something, and Elizabeth Debicki could win an award for being tallest. And the award for tallest actor goes to, well, I'll be damned, Elizabeth Debicki.
Lee Pace is sitting there like, bullshit!
I was robbed again! Every year!
All right. Well, that's Widows.
It is Widows.
We got so much shit to talk about. Next movie got here is for the first an actual decent Netflix film. How about that? Cam, a Blumhouse production.
Why don't you talk about Cam, George?
Me? Because I
haven't seen any other movies.
Okay, sure. So yeah, we talked about this last episode, like towards the end. I never heard about it until Ryan brought it up on the rundown. So yeah, it is a Blumhouse joint made for Netflix. It is a movie about this cam girl and sort of her obsession with becoming number one. And through the course of it, we see like how her life revolves, like how her life, like outside of these shows and the performance she gives, like what all goes into it. And it also sort of gives you a look, not just to this character, but sort of a look to this industry and this profession. But then shit goes fucking wild when someone not only hacks her account, but like a clone of her, at least what, honestly, I have questions about this movie, but it seems like a clone of her is running the show, and that clone is doing a better job than her, but she doesn't understand what the fuck is going on. And the movie's about trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, and her sort of spiraling into madness a little bit.
One thing I'd just like to say about this film, it was written by a former cam girl. And I was reading an interview about it because I fucking love this fucking movie. It's fucking dope as shit. And the director, it was a friend of hers, and he actually for a week did some camming to put himself in that perspective of like cam girls. And they talked about the reason why I did that is that way when he shot the film, he would look at it through less of a male gazy perspective and more of like, okay, this is how it would look, and this is how I can film it. In a way that makes sense with how the character would feel in this kind of very vulnerable situation that you're putting yourself out into.
Part of me feels like I would have enjoyed it more if I actually, and this sounds weird, like I can see what this character goes through, and even just like the whack, like the out of like reality stuff, I understand, like it sort of makes sense when you're in this position, and especially grinding to get to that top spot. But yeah, I guess I'll talk about how I felt about it. I don't know. The concept I thought was super, super interesting, especially because I'm fascinated by like sex work and like what it takes to like that industry and living a life like that. I just find it really interesting. And I also like horror a lot. But I don't know. I think because I walked out of it with not a lot of... Usually this doesn't bother me, but I walked out of it without a lot of conclusions or answers to what was actually happening. Or at least they gave me an answer, but I was like, I still am confused how this whole thing works. Was this like a fucking deep fake? What was going on? I don't know what's happening.
That was the joke I made on my Letterboxd review.
And so yeah, I liked the colors a lot. I thought it looked visually fantastic. I thought the lead actress does a fantastic job. I think that one scene where she's on the machine because she's trying to like get on it to like just fucking boost me up to number one when she's at this cam girl house. That scene was extremely well done. It was like just fucking it reminded me of, oh my god, it a little bit reminded me of the end of Requiem for a Dream a little bit. So that's something. Yeah, I liked it. I don't love it. I kind of ended and I was just like, huh. But obviously you guys feel a lot more strong about it, so I'm excited to see like what you guys think of it. Ryan, you sort of started the conversation.
I really love this movie. It's just because it's such an interesting... It's an industry that's not really represented like in film ever. And I feel
or at least not well.
Definitely not well.
It usually ends with the sex worker dead.
Yeah.
Dead, or like, thank God I have this boyfriend now who talked me.
Right. Or dead or saved.
Yeah, saved.
And like, that's what I especially loved. I was like, because she's doing this because she genuinely loves it. And it's something that fuels her creatively, which is, in like a weird way, it lets like any person with any like creative like fuel like being able to like identify with her, because like, oh, she's into this.
She's just
like
grinding to do the thing she wants to do. Yeah.
Just like I like doing art, or I like creating this or writing or like whatever, and that's very like awesome. And like her struggles are just so personal, because it's just this force has taken everything she's worked at And you said like it was kind of doing it better than her. I feel like it was just doing it for her without her like feeling the satisfaction of doing the work. Because we see in the film that, especially like in scenes where she flips through other cam girl feeds, and these girls like they do very like simple like, oh, I'm just in my dorm room, and like I feel like the most creative one she stumbled upon was a girl like pouring glitter on her tits. And then the number one girl is just this woman who just lays on her bed and talks.
Yeah.
But she, like, as she flips through her calendar, like, every fucking show is, like, this new, like, thing. Like, a creative, like, she's, like, really struggling to, like, do something new and interesting.
Sure.
And I feel like this presence that takes over her channel just kind of, like, keeps amplifying that. In a sense that like she would have done that herself anyway.
Sure.
But now she's just watching and like is unable.
And that's what makes it so
like,
fucked up for her, because it's like, because when you're in that spot and you're grinding so hard, a lot of the times you're like, why am I not big? I am trying so goddamn hard and better than everyone else. And now she's seeing that success, but in sort of like a mirror version of herself.
Yeah, in a way that's very empty. That's
like, and it's just like fucking.
I'm successful, but like I don't. It's taken part of me.
Like once her account is taken over, I think it speaks to a lot of interesting things about your online persona and how sometimes it can feel like you have this person that you are online, and sometimes it feels like it's not even yourself, even when you're looking at yourself. So it's, I don't know, I kind of took it in a way where it's like, it's about if you can get lost in what you're doing online, and then it feels like it's going out of control and you're doing stuff and getting successful, but it doesn't feel rewarding because it's just like, I don't know, feels like it's not even you doing it anymore. But I don't know, maybe that's not.
Sure, no, yeah, I get it. And I don't know why. I like everything they were talking about, and like what I see what the movie's about, but for some reason, like, I don't know, it didn't grab me. I think it's done well. Yeah, I don't know. Karrie, was there something specific that you wanted to bring up?
Just what I just said about the about the online persona thing, but
it's very
I think that's definitely like, because she really does play the act. I mean, she plays like 3 different characters. There's like her in the real world. There's like her own persona, and then this amalgamation that's like online. That's like, it's her, but it's also like her with this weird like edge to it. I don't want to like spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, because like when she slowly figures out what this thing is, she's like, oh, huh. And like it's kind of like formed from her and like some other attributes that just feel very like, I don't know, it's very weird. So in that sense, and then like towards the end, like the resolution, you know.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about the end, because that's I want to see how you feel.
I fucking loved it. Yeah. I thought it's because after all that, she still cares about what she's doing. All that shit she went through, she's like, no, this is what I'm doing. And I especially love the line where like her mom's like, well, what if this fucking happens to you again? She's like, then I'll make another fucking account. Yeah, like I'll delete it like I deleted this one, and I'll get a new account, and I'll rise through the ranks again, because this is what I'm good at. Just because there's something that could stop me from being successful doesn't mean I'm just going to back away and do something else. Like this is my job. This is what I do. I'm going to keep doing this because it's what brings like meaning to my life. And that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's a way better read of it than I got out of it.
Because all the bullshit that she goes through and all like the terror that she goes through, like in the end, she doesn't give up or like give into like the societal things. Like the police are like, just fucking stay off the internet, man. Or like the teenage boys who are just like dicks to her for no reason. By the way, if I could make one edit to this film, I would have had her snap that phone from that teenage boy in half. Because like, fuck that kid. Because like everyone like tells her like, this, you don't want this. And like even like during the film, like you kind of feel like, well, what is she really gaining from all this? Sure, she bought a really fucking nice sectional sofa, but she's also, like, interacting with these very, like, creepy guys who, like, online, they're very, like, kind and sweet and, like, oh, they're like, nice to her and they give her money and there's, like, a distance with that. But then when she meets them, like, in person, it's like, oh, you are awful. You are the worst person in the world.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think she knew from you're sort of working someone. Karrie, how'd you feel about the ending? Because my original read, I guess I wasn't like fully like thinking. It's weird. The movie was kind of happening, and I was taking it in, but I was taking it all at surface value, I guess. Because your read is way better than the read I got, which is just from the read that I thought she like went crazy. Which that does when you explain it that way, okay, that I like that read a whole lot better than my read.
No, yeah, I didn't get her going crazy.
I don't know why I got that, but yeah.
That's easy to see because in a way she does go crazy.
She does go a little crazy.
Which is like fair.
Yeah.
If that happened to me, I'd go a little crazy.
She went a little extreme.
Yeah. I think it is the slamming of the face on the thing that I was like,
I will say though, I rewatched the trailer because like I remember being like, oh, the song they're playing in the trailer is fucking good. The trailer spoils everything in the fucking movie.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah, it spoils everything. The last like battle sequence, that's just in the trailer.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I know, it's fucking stupid. So if you want to if you're listening to this,
completely blind.
you should just go in blind and like be ready for a fucking awesome ride because this movie fucking slaps. I'll say it. This movie fucking slaps. Like as much as like I love like Suspiria, like that's a very like art to rind thing. Like I love Camelot, but it feels like more of like a personal thing. Like I really love like it's not perfect like the like story wise. There's not really a resolution with like her brother.
right.
And like that relationship I just really enjoyed initially just because like he's very supportive of her and that's really cool for someone like who's young and like a relative. Like he gets what she's doing and like their last interaction he's like pissed and like it's weird that he's pissed at her because like it's really his asshole friends who were causing that problem in that specific scene. But there's no resolution there and I feel like that would have been something.
Yeah, I like that character. Yeah, I don't know. Is there
Also, a Netflix thumbnail was just him. I was like, that tells me nothing about this movie. Netflix, your thumbnails
you
are
gotta
fucking
rotate them
stupid.
regularly,
Yeah.
so you gotta choose something. There's only so many frames. I don't know if there's anything else to be said about it. I thought it was really well done. Great performance. I'm glad that it was sort of like a erotic fucking movie that was like smart and they handled the subject matter well. I still enjoyed like that part, and then also be like, oh, this is a good movie.
It felt like when, like you were like saying, like, oh, it's going Netflix, Blumhouse on Netflix. What kind of piece of shit do they sell here? But I feel like you could not sell this movie to a general audience. I feel like this has to be a Netflix or like an online streaming movie.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like that's the audience.
Sure,
that
like with
really
the R
appreciate it.
rating and
I feel like just because like it's so sexual, and not like even like a just sexual and like what the subject matter really, not like what we see, because we don't really,
because it is pro sex worker.
it is pro sex worker, yeah, and I feel like that'd be hard to sell.
Sure.
And I feel like people won't get, especially like ratings boards people. I feel like I don't know. I feel like
I can see some trouble it making. Yeah, it'd probably better like to take a contract from Netflix. Like just give us the money and we'll be good. It probably all Blumhouse productions are usually cheap, so yeah, it was good. I wish I liked it more. I guess that's what I'll say. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs is the next movie on here.
I
Is
did
it
not
Coen
know
Brothers?
a Coen Brothers movie came
Yeah,
out.
neither did I.
It's on Netflix. It's another.
Zoe Kazan. What if Zoe Kazan?
It's I enjoyed it a lot. Looking back on watching it, I enjoy it more looking back than when I was actually watching it. So I need to watch it again. But the more I think about it, the more I like it. But basically, it is a Western anthology movie. So there's 6 mini stories, and one of them is the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and then there's 6, and I thought it was really, really interesting. And someone that I follow online described it as an actually well-made, well-acted, and well-written version of A Million Ways to Die in the West. And I was like, accurate. But yeah, it's...
that is a movie.
So...
I chose not to watch that.
Some segments are stronger than others, as is the case with anthology movies.
Sure.
But and I don't watch a ton of Westerns, but I can tell that it seems like each anthology is a riff on a different kind of Western film. Like the first one, Ballad of Buster Scruggs, is this like chipper outlaw guy who's running around singing and killing everyone. And then the second one is James Franco plays a bank robber who attempts to rob a bank. And the third one is Liam Neeson with this he has this caravan with this guy who he sets up in different towns and performs. The third one is my favorite, but it's a little weird, but I like the third one a lot. And then the fourth one is a guy searching for gold in this valley. The fifth one is the Zoe Kazan one. I think that's one of my other favorite one. And it's them in like a covered wagon trail, and they're heading to Oregon probably. And her brother dies along the way, and she has to try and make it the rest of the journey. And then the final one is a group of people, interior of a carriage, having a conversation leading them to this hotel.
Man.
And it's a cool movie. It's really cool.
I don't know how I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
On a printer release, too.
So they probably did not promote it at all.
Yeah, I had just heard whispers about it, and then I saw that it actually came onto Netflix, and I watched it. I think I watched this and Cam on the same night, but yeah, it's
Those
a little...
are two different films.
I watched Ballad of Buster Scruggs first, and it was a little long, and since the last segment is just a conversation, I was starting to fade. I was like, oh god. So that's why I need to watch it again. But then I was like, all right, I'll watch something else now. And I watched Cam, and I was like, oh god.
I am awake now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would say give Buster Scruggs a try if you enjoy Western motif type films. And it's a very funny movie most of the time. And there's some really good segments. And it's an enjoyable time. Give it a shot.
I can't believe Netflix put out two good films.
I know, right?
By the way, Karrie, Netflix is making the new, what's his name again? He made Synecdoche, New York.
Charlie Kaufman. Yeah,
Charlie
I saw
Kaufman,
that.
Yep, and you know who's playing the main character in that movie?
Oh, I read this.
My second favorite person. Brie
no
Larson.
idea. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
she's playing the main character, and that's super dope.
Yeah.
And I read the synopsis. That
I mean,
sounds awesome.
honestly,
I like
that
Charlie
checks
Kaufman.
out. Like, who else would pay for a Charlie Kaufman movie? It'd be like...
Well, Charlie Kaufman, but Brie Larson.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm just saying, like, because he had to, like, kickstart his last movie, right?
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, getting a deal with Netflix, that's good. That's good for him.
Yeah, that's good.
Stuff.
Anyways,
Good
Karrie,
stuff.
speaking of good
Oh,
stuff.
Karrie, you did not need to do this to yourself. Why did you do this? You
I
didn't-
know.
So, to be fair, I listened to a podcast that spoiled the whole movie to me, so I kind of know what happened.
Oh, cool. Ryan can help me out. I was morbidly curious.
I was also that way, but I felt like I need to see if I'm gonna go down the
whatever you're
rabbit
gonna
hole.
say, you don't need to do
If I'm
anything.
gonna go down the rabbit hole, I might as well see. Oh god, the other Harry Potter films. Oh god,
So
I don't want to do that.
See, that, I'm not gonna go down that path because I enjoy those movies.
Yeah, out of the blue the other day.
The movie we're talking about is Fantastic Beasts, too.
Yeah. The other day, I was gonna go hang out with Greg, and he was like, "Let's watch Harry Potter," and I was like, "Okay." So
That's very weird.
I know.
Yeah.
It was out of nowhere, and so I bought. Since this one's in theaters right now, they had a little kiosk at Walmart, and they had the 8-film collection on Blu-ray on sale for $40. And I was
That's
like,
actually pretty good.
Shit!
That's
So
actually
I
pretty
bought
good.
that. Yeah. So I have them all. If you want to watch them, Ryan.
Maybe. This is a firm maybe.
we're on
Kinda like-
we've gotten through 6. and
Twilight,
it's-
yes. The
Oh
Twilight.
yeah, I will marathon if you any day, any single week, like Ryan, let's marathon Twilight. I'll be, fuck yeah! If you're like Ryan, let's watch one Harry Potter movie. Oh god.
You want to watch
Is there-
20 hours of Harry Potter right now?
The Wizarding World,
All right,
baby.
so
I'd
fantastic.
rather watch all 5 Twilight films twice.
Okay, so what I remember, Ezra Miller's a punk ass bitch in that first movie. Fucking my God, what's his name?
Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne's in it. He's all like,
He's also a punk ass bitch.
yes, but he's all like quirky and weird. Oh.
he's quirky in like
There's a
the
banker?
worst way.
Yes, definitely. There's a banker man. I forgot what his profession
he's a
was.
Baker
From-
who goes to the bank to try and get a loan.
That's what it was.
Karrie, from my understanding, this film, like, it has all those characters that everyone loved from the first Fantastic Beasts movie. It pretty much makes them supporting characters to a bunch of bullshit, boring people.
My personal favorite aspect of the first Fantastic Beasts was Queenie, the blonde lady, and the non-wizard friend who fell in love. And they show up for no real reason. This movie, it's this is the very next film, but like most of the time it's just them. It feels like a lot of the time is them just being like, forget what happened in the previous film. It's like, but we just watched it. Because like they show up, because if you remember at the end of the last one, they do that whole forget everything rain.
Yes.
To
But it
wipe
only
everyone's
made
memory.
you forget bad memories.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
That's what I read.
Because Eddie Redmayne's back at his house, and Queenie and I don't remember his character's name, but the non
Let's just say
the nomad.
Let's just say Schmitty.
Schmitty comes back, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just only remember all the good stuff. I didn't have any bad memories, so it didn't work on me." And Queenie filled in the rest of the holes, and it's like,
This
that's
is called
dumb.
expositional dialogue. Ain't that crazy?
And also the Ezra Miller's character Credence at the end of the last movie
Fucking
seems
died.
to have died, but then he just shows up. No explanation at all. No one's even like, "You're alive?" They're all just like, "Oh yeah, there's Credence." It's like, excuse, but not that I was a huge fan
Credence
of
fan.
the first. Well, no, but like not that I knew the ins and outs of the first Fantastic Beasts film, but I remembered it enough where I was like, "Wait, what?" So it was jarring and confusing and weird. But yeah, this movie mostly follows. It's very, very a lot, and it's dumb, but it follows Grindelwald or Grindelwald, depending who you talk to.
Christoph Waltz in this movie?
No, but it follows him being transported from the wizard prison he was in, and which, let's just stop transporting big bad
You know,
baddies.
maybe if they're in one
Just
prison.
leave them there or kill them. But yeah, so he
He was
gets...
in the same bus with Michael Myers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, stop transporting
Oh
them.
my god, I would have loved if Michael Myers busted out that bus and Grindelwald just comes out with this fucking stupid, it's like, just walks off, regular handcuffs on. Just,
But yeah, there's this whole confusing scene at the beginning where Grindelwald is being broken out of prison because he has a lackey who disguised himself as Grindelwald, and then they're all in this cart together being transported, and then they're like, switcheroo, haha, it was me the whole time, and then Grindelwald throws this pet lizard out the window for no reason because he's evil.
No.
But yeah, so it follows him breaking out of prison and trying to gain a following, and then
because he's just Hitler, right?
yeah, he's Wizard Hitler, and there's
Is he the guy who wants to get rid of the people? The human? The
The
muggle?
no-mages.
the no-mages,
Right,
the
that-
muggles, the can't spells.
No-mage.
No-mage is bad.
That's...
Can't spell is just worse.
I mean, no badge is close to this thing to sounding incredibly racist out of all those three words.
It does, but then you break it out like, no-mage. Oh.
He
it's
didn't
just
try
can't-
that.
It's just...
Can't spell.
That's like if you walked up to someone and was like, you're a no-read. You can't fucking read.
You can't do magic and you're dyslexic. But so it's him, and then Credence is trying to find out his parentage. He's trying to find out who he is. And
I know how that goes.
Eddie Redmayne is there for pretty much no reason at all. Like, I don't know why.
You got the beast.
I don't know why Newt is involved in this story,
That's
other
fair.
than like Dumbledore tells him
hang
to
out
go
over
there for some reason. I don't even
Oh
remember.
yeah, played by what's his
Jude
bucket?
Law.
Jude Law.
He has a brother that's the same fucking person, right?
What?
Newt. Doesn't he have a brother?
Oh, yeah.
I'm still convinced
yeah.
Jude Law is
He-
here just so people can
yeah,
be horny for him.
Look, let's give the people what they want.
Eddie Redmayne, Newt's brother, Thaddeus, something.
That sounds familiar.
But he is an aura, or whatever that profession
Some
is called. He
dumb
works for the
wizard
ministry, basically, and he wants Newt to join him, but Newt's like, no, I don't want a real job. I just want to take care of my animals.
I just want my fantastic beasts.
But
they're so fantastic, and I have so many of them, and they're all in this briefcase. Oh shit!
But yeah, this movie is extremely convoluted, and there's this whole plot where Credence is trying to figure out who he is, and he is super powerful because he's an Obscurus, which is a wizard who was, as a child, forced to suppress their magic, and then now it just, like, bursts out in uncontrollable, emotional, just blasts. But that makes him more powerful for some reason. So Grindelwald is after him and wants to recruit him. And
Karrie, from what I've heard, there is a scene in this movie where everyone pretty much goes into a room and just explains what's going on.
there is a part where
Because I remember, when I was reading about this, they're like, "There's the fuck," they just explain what's going on. It's like, all right, so this is happening, and this is happening, but this is happening. Oh,
So
fuck.
there's this character who is Newt's brother's fiance, and she went to school at Hogwarts with Newt, and her mother was, and this is Zoe Kravitz, and her mother was kidnapped by her father.
Let's see if I must move.
And she was so the byproduct of that, because he like saw her and was like, oh, she's beautiful, I have to have her, and he like took her.
First off,
Took her, yeah, I know, right? And took her, and then had the child of it was Zoe Kravitz's character, who is a Lestrange, so like Bellatrix Lestrange, so she's related to her somehow. And I saw someone point out, was like, if you have to literally open up a family tree in the middle of your film to be able to figure out who the fuck everyone is, because they have this little book that has a family tree that sprouts out of it. But so then that guy, her mom died in childbirth, so then that guy remarried and then had a son. And Zoe Kravitz hated that son, and then she's like, they're like, Credence is that son, and she's like, no, it's not Credence because I killed my brother. And it's like, oh my god, what? So there's this part where the dad sent his kids on a boat to go away for some reason, which I don't remember. And the baby would not stop crying. And Zoe Kravitz, as a child, went down the hallway and swapped it with another baby that was not crying. And then the boat started sinking. And the lifeboat that had her real brother on it sunk, but hers did not. So the baby that she did have is Credence, and so then he was put into the orphan system. So he's not actually related to her, but she just happened to steal him. And then there's this whole sequence where Johnny Depp as Grindelwald is explaining his how he wants everyone to be on his side, and he like rips a fat vape cloud that shows all the future and all these wars, because the wizards didn't really intervene with World War II. They just kind of let it happen, because this movie takes place
Them
in the
and
20s.
the people of Wakanda.
Yeah, exactly. But and then after that, anyway, fast forwarding to the end of the film.
Great. Sounds good.
Johnny Depp has Credence with him now, and he's like, do you want to know who you are? And Credence is like, yes, I do. And he's like, you are Aurelius Dumbledore. And it's like,
what?
Pardon me?
What?
So there's Albus Dumbledore,
right,
and then Dumbledore's brother,
right,
Aberforth. But apparently now there's another Dumbledore, unless Johnny Depp is lying to him, which is very possible.
Okay.
So the big twist is
Johnny
Credence.
Depp lying to someone.
I know, right? So the big twist is supposedly Credence is a long lost Dumbledore brother.
All right,
Which
Karrie.
is
Everybody,
very weird and confusing.
Head out to
Karrie,
Tumblr,
Karrie,
write
Karrie.
your fan theories. I need you to know who the fuck.
But don't post any nipples.
I don't need to see any of this horny Ezra Miller, Jude Law shit. Get the fuck out
So,
of here.
Karrie, I think I understand the plot, but
I don't.
start over from the beginning because I understand absolutely nothing of what you just said.
They're making 3 more of these, huh?
4.
Yikes. Fucking yikes.
I'm pretty sure it's 4.
This is the most, it felt like a pointless movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Because it just felt like it was leading up to the twist of, oh my god, Dumbledore has a brother.
The marks will pay for it, brother.
But yeah, so, random weird things that I wanted to shout out. Nagini, Voldemort's snake, actually a human woman the whole time.
Oh my fucking god. Are you fucking serious?
Because when we first see
Are you
Credence,
fucking
he's
serious?
walking into a wizard circus, which is apparently a thing, and there's a lady in there who is a there's an animalis. Those are the wizards, I think, that can turn into animals, but she's a maliganimalis or something, where she can turn into a snake, but at some point, it's gonna be the last time that she turns into a snake and she can't turn back. So
Fucking bullshit, J.K. Rowling.
First off,
Fucking
see,
retire.
And also, the best part is that Nagini, the character, and she's named Nagini as a human too,
God fucking
which
God
she
damn
is
it.
played by a Korean woman. So it's like, oh god.
Oh.
So J.K. Rowling is basically like, no, my book was diverse. You just didn't know. She was.
I can't believe I could have watched the
the
Marine
snake
6.
was Korean, okay? I'm not racist.
I could have watched
It's
the Marine
also-
6 and could have
also-
talked about wrestling.
Also,
this
the
whole time.
presence of someone who turns into an animal at the wizard circus is very weird to me. It's like people are paying to watch a wizard turn into an animal. That just seems like a thing wizards can do.
Karrie.
It seems like a spell they
Karrie.
learn.
Can you talk to me about, because
No.
when I was
Will
watching
you stop?
the Blood Pact,
Oh, right!
the Blood Pact.
You wouldn't know it from watching this film, but Dumbledore and Grindelwald are gay for each other. But you wouldn't know because they never go into it at all. Like, they have...
apparently made a blood pact as kids, and now they can't hurt each other?
I don't think they were kids, but...
Well, when they were in school together.
Yeah, basically, people want Dumbledore to go after Grindelwald, and he's like, no, I can't. And instead of being like, I can't because I love him, it's like, I can't because I made a blood pact with him, and now he has a piece of jewelry on him that contains both of our blood, and we are forced to not be able to fight each other.
Karrie, when can we do something like that? Because I feel like we're always on the cups of it. I just want pure protection from you. Just finally snapping and being like,
But let's see, what else? There's just like some lazy, weird things that don't make sense that are fan servicey. Like Minerva McGonagall is in this film, even though she wasn't born until like 10 years after this movie takes place. And it's just dumb. It's a very dumb movie. I don't recommend it. And I've made everyone angry by talking about it.
No,
and
I'm not
happy.
angry. I'm just like... I don't want to
I'm
be the guy
furious.
who... I've said this so many times on this podcast. I don't want to be the guy who hates Harry Potter. I have fond memories of those films. I
they're
read for
good.
some of the books. And we're at the point right now where, like...
I feel like this isn't Harry Potter. This is just cash grab. It's bad. It's stupid. But
It's like...
it's in the world of Harry Potter, sure, and it's some of the characters and their backstory, but it just feels like they're going at it without it feels like they're writing it as they go, and it doesn't feel like the loving vision that Harry Potter originally was conceived from this her at the cafe or whatever that story is, frantically writing ideas on her napkins. This just feels like bullshit crap that's just meant to be mystical.
Well,
and
people...
exciting.
Somebody loves it, so...
Yeah. I will say that the beasts in this movie, there were 2 new beasts, and they were pretty interesting. There was like a big kelp dragon.
Interesting.
He was cool. I enjoyed them more than the beasts in the first film. There was a big kelp
Interesting
dragon,
beasts.
which
Right.
was cool. And
That does sound
and there
cool.
was at the circus in captivity, they had this Chinese cat creature, which was this big old cat, and it had like flower petals all over it, and I thought that was cool too. But there was really no reason for there to be beasts in this
Karrie?
film, honestly.
Carrie.
So why does it say fantastic?
Because it's a series.
Carrie, you don't need to keep watching these films.
I probably won't.
Man.
Carrie, fantastic beads and oh shit, it's Grindelwald.
Oh,
When
damn,
the third
here he
one.
comes.
Oh lord, he coming.
So what are they gonna call the third one?
Who fucking cares?
Well, this was the Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah, but they
Even
set
though he
him up.
didn't-
They set him up. To
Yeah.
the last movie.
Who else is Dumbledore? I have no idea.
How does Jude Law look so much younger than Johnny Depp? Also.
Because Johnny Depp doesn't take care of himself.
Yeah, probably.
And they wanted to make him creepy looking, but it's also not believable that young, beautiful Jude Law would be in love with crusty ass.
Listen, everybody makes mistakes. Everyone makes choices.
Everybody has those days.
Everyone's made a
Everybody
blood pact with
knows
someone
what-
who in the
what
future
I'm
they turned
talking
out
about.
to be Hitler.
Everybody gets that way.
Anyways, another movie that does not seem necessary.
God fucking you guys.
Brian, okay.
Looks bad.
Ralph breaks the internet.
Wreck-It Ralph, a good movie.
When
made
I
by
was
Disney
looking
Animation.
at the cast list for this movie, putting the notes together, I was like, "Wow, I'm glad I didn't see this." Just like looking
Wow.
at the characters that they were playing, I was
Jane
like,
Lynch, an actress.
Well, I mean, like just the I could maybe think of the way that the plot would progress, where it's like stormtroopers, blah blah blah, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm glad I didn't see
Carrie,
this."
what I've heard, that's not how it is. Like, it generally is not that. Like, there's like...
Convince me that this movie isn't Ready Player One meets the Emoji Movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
got
so
a fucking...
So the general plot of this movie, which takes place 6 years later, real time. They're in the arcade, and Vanellope's what happens is her racing game, a kid accidentally breaks it, and like, what do we fucking do? And they're like, well, they plugged in this thing called Wi-Fi, and okay, this is Sonic the Hedgehog of all people. It's like, just go to eBay and fucking get a wheel off eBay. It's like, all right, we'll go to eBay then. So then they go on the internet, they explore the internet and all of its joys, and they go on eBay and they purchase
This is
a
how
wheel.
I'm sorry. This is how this movie ends. In reality, they order it, and then it's some guy's like, "Listen, man, you don't need to fix this game. Let me gut this fucking giant, pristine arcade board and put MAME on it, so we can have like 60 versions of fucking Pac-Man and Galaga on it." Anyways, go on.
Anyways, they purchased the wheel off eBay, but then like, we don't have any money. We got to make money off the internet. So it's all about them exploring the internet and trying to figure out how to get money for this wheel, or else Vanellope's game will get shut off and then she'll lose her home. As in this franchise, when your cabinet gets unplugged, you're basically stuck living in the fucking power cord for the rest of your fucking
Until
life.
someone buys you and then fucking guts you and puts a MAME board on it.
You know, whatever. And the overarching thing, which I like, generally, like, I think it's like a great sequel in terms of like what it does with the characters, because it explores like their friendship and like what they've been through in the last like 6 years of them being friends. And basically, a main plot is they go into this online, like, gritty fucking heavy metal ass fucking game. What's that fucking Twisted Metal kind of like racing game that's like online, and it has Wonder Woman playing the main character. And Vanellope's like, "This is fucking
Gal Gadot.
dope." Gal Gadot, yeah. And Ralph's like, "This sucks. You don't want to be in here." But like, she's like, "No, I really like this game. I just want to be here." And he's like, "No, you don't. You just want to hang out with me all the time because we're best friends. Don't do that to me." And he like ends up going out on the internet and just becomes this viral sensation. And he decides to make money through basically like a YouTube kind of thing. He kind of like makes videos and just kind of like, it becomes a sensation. Like, what's with Ralph from an 80s video game making videos? That's weird. Like, no one knows why these videos are being made. And he ends up trying to make money for her, but she's more focused on like, I kind of want to just be here. And Ralph kind of takes that the wrong way, and just, he feels like because she doesn't want to be in the arcade with him, he's like, "Oh, so you don't want to be my friend anymore," basically. And like, for me, that's such an interesting thing for that character, because in the first one, it's established like you spend like years like just alone and like miserable because like of the perception of him being a bad guy, and that's the whole plot of the film. And this film kind of explores the idea of like letting your friends and those close to you go off and do their own thing. And just because like you don't see them anymore because of distance or whatever, that doesn't mean you're not friends. You're still close, and the memories you have together are still meaningful. It's more about just letting people go that you care about, and I think that's a cool message for kids. And it also plays a lot with internet safety. Like people kind of are shitty to Ralph on the internet, and he kind of like learns like, well, they're just fucking assholes on the internet. It can't really do nothing with that. Like it's honestly very genuine and sweet, and the brand stuff is placed in a way that it's not too obnoxious, and a lot of it, there were some things that flew over my head because even though I feel like an internet boy, like apparently there was like a YouTuber that cameoed in the movie, and like I just fucking missed it.
I don't know. So
I was looking at the cast list. Was it Glozell or
I don't know.
Flula Borg?
I don't know.
Or Colleen Ballinger?
Nope.
Miranda sings?
Yes, her.
Okay.
Her computer got fucked up because Ralph just fucking was an idiot. And she just like looks at her and like does a weird voice like, oh, that's just a person, but it was Miranda Sings apparently. And I was like, okay, that's okay.
Yep.
Jeez,
Brian.
I'm
Why don't
so-
you get plugged in once?
I don't even know what her
Plugged
fucking
in.
content is.
I don't even know if she does Miranda Sings anymore. She's pregnant now.
Oh, good for her.
Good for her.
But yeah, like the Disney stuff, that's really one part of the movie, and like what kind of helps that from not being super obnoxious is Vanellope is the only one who goes there, and she thinks it's fucking stupid, and she just like rails on it, being like kind of like this is.
So you're telling me that they just kind of did that for the marketing of the movie?
Yes, the marketing makes this movie out to be way different. It's genuinely like very sweet and like wonderful, and has two. Well, it has two post-credit scenes. One is very like, all right, that was kind of like it's funny, but it's like, all right, that was kind of obvious. And the mid-roll one is very fucking good. It actually like makes fun of the marketing for the movie.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. But yeah, this movie is generally like super awesome and dope, and you all fucking suck for shitting on it so much. It's really good.
Do I need to watch it for another year?
If you don't feel like it, I don't know.
All I'm saying is that I dislike the brand push. It's not even the Disney stuff. It's the Google and the Amazon and like big corporation shit. Not that Disney isn't a fucking saint.
Oh yeah.
It's like the three mega corporations that are gonna own everyone. We made a fun kids movie.
Like even though like you see like Google and YouTube, like the only like big website I feel like they actually go to is eBay. Like that's the only like one that like they pass by like Google and they like oh look at fucking that. Okay, cool. Cause like when they go to like YouTube, it's like their own like watchvideo.com or something stupid like that. Like
BuzzTube.
But yeah, BuzzTube, that's what it was. But yeah, that the marketing really makes this movie out to be much more like better than it really is.
Not that it needs to have any video game stuff for it to be good.
It has a little bit in the beginning.
Is Mappy in it?
No, there's
Damn.
no Mario, which is like when they were making Wreck-It Ralph
Mario.
1, they were big on like trying to get Mario in it.
Yeah.
But they couldn't. There's more Sonic. Sonic does some funny gags.
Yeah.
And that he talks and he's Sonic, which is just weird. But yeah, very good film. I'd highly recommend it.
Kaizo Hori in it. That's the Dig Dug guy.
Dig Dug guy?
That's his
Maybe.
name.
Maybe. There's honestly, the video game stuff is mostly in the beginning.
You know what? I'll probably watch it.
It's good. You say it as if like I'm trying to make you watch Fantastic Beasts. The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Don't do that.
No, it's mostly because you're selling me on it. And because
and I was my hands are already crossed.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
mad at this movie, and you're making it sound
because
actually
it looks
good.
like ass. But sure, okay. And also, I'm remembering how much I liked Wreck-It Ralph.
It's very good. It's honestly like a great continuation of those characters, and
So does it sound like they're making another one?
They could. I don't know where else to go.
Not that it was obvious they were gonna make another one in the last one, but
Uh,
because it felt more like a weird experiment thing.
I don't know if I feel like it doesn't need it. I feel like this is a good like. I feel like the like very like bittersweet note it ended on was very like was a good way to just like end this arc for Ralph as a character. Like they could, and I don't doubt that they could do something cool with it, because I feel like the team like that's making these films like really cares about it. Like the way they step into like the way they explore internet is in a very like, it will probably be outdated in like a few years, but like that's the sense with making any like modern tech based film.
But then it's just like a relic of that time, and that's fine. Do we know what they're working on that's not Frozen 2?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
There is a Frozen 2 joke.
Oh, okay, guys.
They make fun of it. It's awesome.
All right. Well, is that everything?
That's everything. We got through it all.
Exciting.
We saw a lot of movies.
Hooray!
I definitely saw a lot of these movies.
You saw so many of them.
Sure. Yeah. December has got some stuff.
It's got one I care about.
One that I am very excited for. Actually, there's a few here that I'm excited for. Mary Queen of Scots. I know what this is, but I can't remember at the top of my head. I've definitely seen this trailer.
It's got Margot Robbie and Saoirse Ronan, and they play queens. Saoirse Ronan is the Scottish queen, I would imagine, and it looks.
I'm gonna look this up right now.
It looks.
Maybe I don't know.
It's by the same people. The trailer tells me anyway. It's by the same people who did The Darkest Hour, and that makes me not want to see it.
Oh,
because that movie was boring as hell.
Whoa, this makeup is wild.
Yeah, the makeup is cool because it looks period accurate. How makeup in that time was just actual poison that people were putting on their face. So the more you used makeup, the more it would eat away your skin. So then you would have to use more, and then it would just eat your skin more. And it's like,
such better times.
Yeah, I know, right?
I feel like
so. I think that's interesting.
I feel like with this movie and The Favorite coming out at the same time, they're just like. The Favorite looks more interesting.
The Favorite looks fun. This looks serious.
And like, I don't know, like the serious period pieces rarely like do good for me. As someone who recently watched Lizzie, a serious period piece, I'll tell you what, they're not great.
Yeah, this is you're right. This just seems more like an actual like period piece and probably a little bit biographical.
It feels very like this team really wants an Oscar.
Yeah, just like Darkest Hour. So I would see it for purely costuming and setting purposes, just because I enjoy extravagant films.
Sure.
That have a lot of costuming. And
a lot of
makeup,
budget
but,
and on that angle.
I don't know.
Okay.
What about Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, unrelated to Jungle Book, 2017?
Right, I feel like this has been in the works for a minute. I remember hearing it.
It was supposed to come out the same year that other
right,
Jungle
yeah,
Book
right,
did.
they pushed it back
They
because they were like,
they were like, shit.
They made it slightly faster than us. But yeah, this is Andy Serkis directing, his first time directing.
I like him.
I love Andy Serkis, and he's very passionate about mocap, which is like super like interesting and inspiring.
That makes sense.
Benedict Cumberbatch, Christian Bale, Kate Blanchett.
Ooh.
And like good names too, but like I don't know, like the Disney's Jungle Book, like when I saw the trailers I was like, okay, I get this. Like it's more real, but like it still has a little bit of that like cartoon charm to it. This just feels like real. And
I haven't
like,
seen any of the trailers.
I saw the Netflix trailer when it was playing. When I had left Netflix on, and you know how like if you leave Netflix on, it just starts playing a trailer
advertised to you
very loudly. Yeah.
Not a lot of
like,
positive reviews for this, but interesting. I remember, I forgot how much I liked the Jungle Book when that came out. That was great. But the problem with that movie was that it confirmed Disney's like they were already doubling down. We gotta do a live action remake of every fucking property we have, and this just sort of like solidified that. Because I don't care about.
As soon as they make one that doesn't make a shit ton of money, it'll stop.
All right, we're done. Yeah.
I hope that's done.
I'm here to say it. I do not care about live action Lion King. I do not care.
But George, it's not even live action. It's photorealistic.
That makes me care even less.
I don't care. I don't care. Anyways,
I have not seen The Lion King since I was like 7.
It's still very good,
and I don't remember a single thing about it. And I don't know. I just don't care about rewatching it.
It's very good.
I don't doubt that, but I don't know. Anyways, Vox Lux.
Vox Lux.
It looks good.
It looks very good. Natalie
I'm
Portman's back,
excited.
baby.
She's playing like a pop star or something. It looks very pretty.
It does.
Oh,
It's got-
this movie.
It's got
okay,
songs
yes.
by Sia,
Ooh.
as with most movies do, but
That is.
but I mean, I like Sia a lot.
I'm
I
look
don't know.
up.
This movie looks really good.
Mortal Engines, though. I don't know a lot about this. I just seen the trailers and like from the team that brought you Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
And I'm like, guys,
Bold.
I don't know if people like care about that name as much as you think anymore.
Oh, it's got Hugo Weaving in it.
What doesn't though?
Chill.
I mean, most films
Chill.
don't feature Hugo
I saw
Weaving.
a bit of this trailer. Mortal Engines.
It
It's got
feels
Stephen Lang in it.
It's got Junkie XL soundtrack.
it just feels like the YA of December.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know.
Is this
Yeah.
like based on the Mortal Instruments series?
Probably.
Of
I mean,
books?
who
Hold
knows
on, let me
really?
look at the IMDb trivia.
That's what I'm doing too. We're very well informed on motion picture. Let's see. Screenplay by Fran Walsh.
Based on the novel of the same name by Philip Reeves.
Okay.
Ugh.
Screenplay partly done by Peter Jackson.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. So yeah, that looks like a forgettable movie.
Let's talk about the only film I care about in the world right now.
I don't want to get myself excited.
This movie looks really cool.
Like, it looked
Spider-Man
cool at the
in-
beginning.
Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse.
Like when they show the
it
trailer.
looks dope, and then like the critic stuff. Like I thought I was like, oh, this will be fun. Like this will be like a good film. But then the critic stuff
The
happened.
critics made it.
And then I'm like, I didn't read a lot into it. I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna avoid this
critic-
because shit, holy, oh
the
my
critics
God.
like solidified the idea, like, because when that first trailer dropped, it was like someone dropping the mic. It was like, oh, fuck, you guys
Yeah.
are like going in on this
Yeah.
fucking thing,
As they should.
and like the fucking who did the music for that? Oh my god, I can't remember off the top of my head, but just like everything about it was like, this is so new, so exciting, and so fucking sharp and good. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm really, really excited, and I'm just cynical about superhero movies. Spider-Man's the easiest one to like break down that cynicism for me. But even now, like, it's just
You
the same
see,
story
I'm-
over and over again. But this looks something different.
Like, what got me back into reading Spider-Man comics was the Spider-Verse comic line that happened at Marvel a few years ago, because they introduced like so many like interesting things. Like Spider-Gwen is great.
Right.
What they do with Miles Morales is fucking awesome. And then all the weird wacky ones they add, like fucking the
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage's Spider-Man Noir.
No, Spider-Man Noir, yeah.
There is a Spider-Ham, a classic, voiced by John Mulaney, best casting of all time. Kimiko Glenn from Orange is the New Black plays the Spider Mech Spider, which is in the comics is this girl who controls a mech that is controlled through the brain of a spider. It's fucking crazy, man. And I'm so excited to see like what other weird spider alternate universe stuff they do in this movie and also future movies, because they've already announced that they're going to do more weird Spider-Man Spider-Verse stuff. So I'm excited.
I'm on board. Looks fun.
It's going to be good. You know it doesn't look fun. The Mule.
I only put this on the list because
It's a movie.
think that it's crazy that Clint Eastwood had 2 movies come out in the same year.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're almost dead. How are you doing
Exactly.
this?
God, all
First
the
off-
screenshots for this fucking movie look like any fucking Clint Eastwood movie
Yeah.
in the current state of his
First
fucking
off,
career.
this movie like suspends my disbelief, because he's the oldest man on the planet, but he's still a drug mule. Like, how do you
Because no one would see it coming,
It's
Ryan.
Clint Eastwood.
He's just an old man driving
But
his
he's been
jalopy across the
You
country.
know, Breaking
movie
Bad,
makes
it's like
it-
that.
This movie
Except
still
older.
haven't seen.
Yeah.
Still haven't seen Breaking Bad.
That's fine.
Yeah, it is
I'm
fine.
just gonna let you continue to live your life.
Yeah, my life is probably better.
Every
that
time
way.
every time we would get this trailer in front of something, it just cuts to Clint Eastwood. It's like, Jesus, he's
Yeah.
clinging to life. He looks
Just
rough.
looking incredibly
It's like-
confused.
I could see
Just looking like that
death
lady from
personified
SpongeBob
behind
asking
him.
about chocolate. Oh god.
What?
Yeah, I definitely won't be seeing this.
Oh
film,
hell no!
But it's just freaky to me that he continues to pump out movies.
Yeah, Once Upon a Deadpool.
This fascinates me.
Does it?
Because like the idea of trying to make a PG-13 Deadpool, like that's fine. Because like he works like in like crossover comics as a PG-13 character, so like it works. It's just the fucking hardcore Deadpool people like, he has to say fucking, he has to show his balls. It's not really Deadpool. But like what's weird about this is it's the same movie that came out this year, but recut with more footage.
Did it really come out this year?
Yeah, May.
Jesus Christ, what's time?
So like
God, yeah.
it's the same movie with different footage, but it has to reach the same conclusion. Also, with censoring out all the like graphic stuff and overly sexual stuff. So it's like we got the Snyder cut of Justice League, and then we got a fucking Joss Whedon cut. We're getting two cuts of the same movie with two very different visions, and it's weird that's the world we're living in.
It is like, I get what you're saying, especially like when you think of like the hierarchy of decisions that need to happen in a movie studio, like that, like they pitched it, and they not only pitched it, but they went with it, and it's now coming out, and like all these specific things we need to cut to make this thing to hopefully extend the market share for Deadpool that we
Yeah.
know the fucking kids love Deadpool. He's so crazy, guys.
They can't love Deadpool because they're not allowed to
Exactly.
see his movies.
And like
So their first experience is going to be a trimmed down version of the second
it's just
movie.
a chart of like, here's how much Funko Pops we're selling now, and here's how many we could sell, guys.
I know, like, the consensus is like, oh, they're doing this so Marvel will keep Ryan Reynolds when they eventually buy that out. But I don't know if that's... I don't know. It just feels too weird.
It's a weird thing.
It's
And
a very
also,
weird.
odd thing that I really don't care about, but I'll... Sure, whatever.
I
don't
feel
know.
like I'll probably end up seeing this just out of pure curiosity.
That's a weird thing for you to...
I
That's a
know.
weird... That's a weird...
Because I don't like these movies.
Well, I guess
and
you tell us how
hate
that
the
goes,
audience.
then.
Like, if you're a fan of Deadpool, like, whatever. But, like...
But Ryan hates you.
I hate being in a crowd of you. It's
I
like
can handle one of you. In
it's
small
like
spurts.
if any of you went to an anime convention with me, you'd be like, oh, these people suck. Except I also feel that way about those people. I just hate crowds of people. You know what?
Stay home, right?
I'm just gonna stay home. What am I fucking doing? On the basis of sex.
Ruth Bader
A
Ginsburg.
very similar movie to what
Deadpool.
What's Upon a Deadpool when you think about it.
Right.
It's got Felicity,
Felicity Jones. That's what I was trying to figure out who's
Yes.
playing. Yeah.
I like her.
She's great.
Yeah, I would watch this.
It's got
Wow.
Armie Hammer.
Oh, shout out to Armie Hammer.
A tall man.
Sure, I'd watch this if it has a wide release, but it doesn't seem like it'd be. Let's see. Oh, it's going up wide release on Christmas.
Happy holiday.
Uh-huh.
Happy holidays.
Mortiz versus Commissioner.
Experience sexism. Holidays to you. If Beale Street could talk. What's this about?
This is the new movie from Barry Jenkins, who
Moonlight.
directed
Oh.
Moonlight.
A movie I don't think either of you have seen yet.
No,
Not yet.
sorry.
Very good. That movie is like the most like I'm gonna see it, but I know it's a good masterpiece, but I'll see it eventually. I've actually seen it. I've committed.
It's from the short synopsis. A woman in Harlem desperately scrambles to prove her fiance innocent of a crime while carrying their first child.
Oh gosh, this sounds like too much for me.
I've heard extremely good things.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
put this on the list because it's in a lot of
It's
people's
also
talks
based on a novel.
for best of and everything. So, and I think it got some nominations from the Golden Globes, I believe, for like song and probably some other stuff that I'm not remembering right now. But I would be interested in seeing
Sure,
it.
I'd watch it. My reaction to that was just like, I can't deal with like that heartbreak and just like
Yeah.
how fucking shitty.
As
life
someone
was.
who has been to Beale Street once,
I
bought a T-shirt, so I get it.
Mary Poppins Returns. I am excited for this conceptually.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I'm way too excited. I know I'm gonna be disappointed, but I'm very excited.
I will gladly walk into this with no expectations though, because I just know it's been happening and like I'm
very excited
Yeah.
for this movie. It looks like similar format to Christopher Robin, where it's
Right.
the childhood thing coming back once they're sad
Except
adults.
now it's a grown woman.
Yeah, well, I mean,
played by
Emily Blunt
Okay, that checks out. That's who I'd get. Yeah, that checks out.
and Dick Van Dyke is in the movie. I assume he'll have some sort of cameo. And once Julie Andrews makes her cameo, which you know she's gonna make, like they're not advertising it, but she's gonna be in the movie.
And she hasn't aged a day.
Oh, of course not. I'm gonna lose.
I'm
my
surprised you
fucking
didn't ask.
mind.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
is
I'm on board.
ethereal.
I'm
so
totally on board.
excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
The trailer just makes it look so magical, and I
am on board for that.
I love Mary Poppins.
Good, feel good. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
on
know if
board.
I've ever seen Mary Poppins.
We should watch
I haven't seen it since I was a
it.
little kid,
Oh
but
my god, let's watch it!
Because like the thing, like I've said this on the podcast many times, but my parents never showed me Disney films. I watched the Friday the 13th movies a lot instead,
yeah.
which explains why I'm the way I am. You know, a psychopath serial killer.
Weird.
George, cut this out of the podcast. Oh, fuck.
Okay, gotcha.
We should watch Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
good. It's a nice movie. It's got
It
great
is a nice
music.
movie.
You
It's
should
got
watch.
dancing
You should watch a
penguins.
movie from my childhood. Child's Play.
There's a guy who's a chimney sweep, but he's got a heart of gold. Yeah.
Who doesn't
Chimney,
nowadays?
chimney, chim, chim, chim,
Aquaman.
I'll say it. This movie's looking better every time I see the trailer. Willem Dafoe's in it.
Oh, okay, yeah, sold.
Yeah. He trains young Aquaman.
Every time
Carrie, could you imagine?
Is he an aqua person?
Yes. Carrie, could you imagine if you were like a teacher and your student grows up to be Jason Momoa? Like, just imagine that. Imagine it. Imagine it.
I'm so proud of you, Jason Momoa.
I'm actually, for some reason, I would be okay with watching this. I kind of feel hopeful as well.
You know what, guys? Let's go see Aquaman.
Also, I like the concept of Aquaman.
I like Jason Momoa's face and body.
Every time I see him,
It's objectively great.
he looks like professional wrestler Roman Reigns, who's currently battling cancer.
Okay, you took that into a place that I wasn't
he
ready
is.
for.
I'm sorry.
I'm not saying like.
Look at this man.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at him.
Yeah.
It looks like fucking
Yeah.
Roman
Look at that
Reigns.
man who's currently battling cancer.
Yeah, he is.
Man.
Yeah.
You know who's?
You'll beat it, Roman. You'll come back.
We're all here for you.
Uh-huh. He is second cousin removed from The Rock. I don't know.
Oh.
Aren't we all really?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Bumblebee.
People think it's gonna be good.
I think
It's got Haley Steinfeld in it, and I love. Excuse you?
Okay, so here, okay,
She
here's the thing.
voices Spider-Gwen in Spider-Verse.
I know that. Okay, here's the thing. I find out that there are songs I enjoy from her. Like
I don't know anything about her music.
Well, that's just like I listen to it and then I'm like, oh yeah, she's all right. I don't know.
I liked her in Edge of 17.
She was good in that.
Oh wait, I'm confusing her with Halsey.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Do
there.
not
Okay.
like Halsey.
That's what
Okay,
happened.
okay.
That's what happened there.
If Bumblebee starred Halsey,
That's what happened there.
that'd be a fucking movie. I'll tell you
That's
what.
exactly what happened there.
You know who I don't like?
Uh-huh.
Halsey.
Yeah, me either. No, fuck
Yeah,
that.
no, I don't like
Yeah.
Halsey.
That's who I confused her with.
No, Haley Steinfeld was the one who was in Pitch Perfect, and she does the most girls.
She did a song for 50 Shades Darker.
Oh.
50 Shades Freed, sorry.
Oh.
Oh, the
this
better
year?
one.
Was that this year?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was.
I don't know what's happening.
Where am I?
George, those movies are your Twilight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people.
50 Shades
Wow,
Freed, not bad. Probably the best one out of all of them.
Good to know.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I
Vice.
like how Bumblebee like at least makes the Transformers look like they should.
That does nothing for me. That really does nothing. That's
I know, but like,
that's
look,
like Zach busted in the room, like, you know, guys, you should watch it. They let Bumblebee look
no,
so first
you're,
generation.
you're really giving our friend Zach a lot of credit for something people would 100% do.
I'm just saying that would be his pitch, and for me, like the
I am surprised our friend Zach did not get us to see Robin Hood.
Yeah, I don't
That
think
would-
he knew
yeah.
about it.
I'm
Zach's
just saying-
been busy.
I'm just saying the pitch of it being like faithful to the thing doesn't do anything for me. But like, it's a weird choice for like a director and like the creative people behind it, and like,
Look, all I'm saying is
It's
a
fucking,
Transformers movie not
like, how did
directed
it-
by Michael Bay sounds like
but
a
like just
fucking
like just how does that happen?
breeze right now.
Sure, but just how does that happen? Like the guy from Laika, like
Yeah.
the guy who made Coraline and Paranorman, like I'm gonna make the Bumblebee movie.
George was making this?
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
fuck?
George, how does that even happen?
George, typically, if you want to make a movie that's like based off like a creative property, you hire someone who's creative and like has had good track record with films.
I don't know if you've seen who's directed the last Transformers movie, so this logic makes no sense to me.
Yeah, but like they're doing
But
it now.
he make
finally,
things go boom, George.
That is true.
No, like they're finally like hiring someone who like feels competent.
John Cena's in this film.
He is.
That's
he plays a
true.
military.
He's the military man. I'm
A
excited.
big stretch for him.
I'm excited for the press
You
junket.
know, it is. It is.
I'm just excited to see how John Cena's doing. You know, he had a
Personally.
huge breakup with Brie Bella.
God, I hate wrestling, George.
I like wrestling George because he's living his best life.
I love his
him
passion.
alone.
I just he says words and I'm just
I just want to see how
lost.
John Cena
Well-
is doing.
well,
mentally.
I don't like Wreck-It Ralph Ryan, alright?
He's got some extreme. He just
That's
looks
fair.
like extreme dad. I feel like John Cena's in a point right now where he feels like he should be bigger than he actually is. Like people know John Cena is, but he's not like at the Rock level, right? And it's just something sad about him right now, and his hair,
I feel like...
like how he has it.
especially because the WWE's moving past him now. So I
I
don't.
feel like his time is coming because I don't think. Well, The Rock
It
wasn't
took a
like
while. It took a
wasn't
while.
like Insta star.
He had to like fail, and then he came back.
Yeah.
You had to star in the Tooth Fairy to star in San Andreas. Fuck.
Star in Jumanji.
I saw parts of San Andreas while at the gym, and does that movie have?
Haven't seen it.
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay, well,
If you say it, it's probably true.
I
though.
feel like watching Skyscraper. And not Skyscraper. That was this year too.
It was.
Oh yeah.
I feel like watching San Andreas for some reason. That's what I walked out from the gym. I was like, you know what?
That's probably a good movie.
Anyways, Bumblebee. I don't think we're watching Bumblebee.
Probably not.
A Vice. Dick Cheney.
What's with that guy?
This was the most. I think I read that this was the most nominated film.
That checks out.
From
That's the
Golden
Darkest
Globes.
Hour, really.
Ooh,
That's the
you're
Darkest
right.
Hour nomination there.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't think I care about this movie.
Shout
but
out
I
to-
haven't seen The Big Short, which was Adam McKay's first like
Oh, okay.
movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
The Big
So I don't know
what's
how
is
he
that
can-
the housing crisis?
Yes.
Fucking fantastic movie.
Really?
Holy
Awesome.
shit, that movie. I saw that
It's
after
got
our
some
awards.
like. I've seen like clips of it, and there's like some cool scenes where they're like, "All right, so this is what happens."
Yes,
and they're like,
yeah.
it looks interesting.
It's really good and really depressing. Yes, it's
Yeah, I've heard
extremely
really
good.
good
From the
things about
director of
that film.
Anchorman.
It's fucking good.
interesting.
The Big Short's really
Because
good.
like it's cool that he's doing stuff like that now.
Sure, yeah.
Because I feel like if he kept making Anchorman type films, it would have just like he'd be the director of the
I
next
just
film on
think-
our list.
Yeah.
It's cool
Holmes
that
and
it's cool
Watson.
that he's doing hard hitting stuff that actually resonates, but is also still able to be funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like,
He finds humor in the stuff that's fucked up.
if
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
some,
It's like smart humor.
but
about
like the thing
bad
is, I don't care
things.
about Dick Cheney. I really don't
I
care.
don't think I
You
do
thi-
either.
see,
I
the
don't-
thing is, I don't think anyone does.
If he paints him like the not great person that he is, like The Big Short was, like The Big Short was like, here's a very cynical and real look at the
Sure.
housing crisis.
If this is like a satirical look at it or something, I don't know.
Like, because like The Big Short was like, here are all the people who made all the fucking shit that made wrong just as cynically as possible, and like I was like, 'cause that was the thing, like there's a lot of look at the camera, like I'm doing this because I think this is the best choice because I'm gonna get my payout here, whatever the hell. So if they do it like that, then I'm excited. But it would take a lot to be like to watch the Dick Cheney movie, the Oscar bait Dick Cheney movie. And then like
Perhaps.
somehow they're gonna give like, oh man, George Bush, he was friends with that guy, and his dad died, and that sucks, huh? I don't know. Whatever. Holmes and Watson, like you said, Adam McKay. This is
This is what he would be making.
Yeah.
This is the parallel timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm just gonna say it.
Yes.
I kind of want to see this. Like, this is the kind of movie where if it were any other characters, I'm like, that looks fucking stupid. But since it's Sherlock and Watson that I enjoy, I'm like, you know what? It might be pretty funny. I'm ready to see these two doofuses make fun of fucking Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, but the thing is, and I haven't seen Step Brothers or Talladega Nights in such a long time that I don't even know if they hold up anymore.
Yeah.
And how do you do? Because part of me remembers them being
Talladega
broken.
Night probably a lot worse. I feel like
And Step Brothers.
I think so. Judging by what I remember about that film, I feel like that's very of its time, and I feel like the humor. If that movie came out today, you'd be like, oh,
I don't think I've ever seen Step Brothers, and I've seen Talladega Nights a few times, but I was never really into it, so I don't.
I mean, I like Step Brothers more than Talladega Nights, anyways, at the time. So.
I don't know. I'm just saying, it looks like it's gonna be very stupid, but
it
I'm
definitely
fully
does
ready to
feel like a
watch it.
film that
Weird December release.
I'll be dragged into.
Maybe not. Yeah,
I
it
don't
seems
know.
like the thing A Bad Santa, A Dumb and Dumber 2.
So you're just saying things my
things
parents
that
have
Ryan
dragged me
would be
to.
dragged into. It's like, Ryan, this looks
Your
funny.
mom's gonna be like, Sherlock Holmes played by Will Ferrell.
That's a great impression
Funny,
of
funny stuff.
Robin
Except my
Lance.
mom is genuine about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you, but on Thanksgiving she turned on 4 Christmases.
I was
starring
watching.
Vince Vaughn.
sounds all right.
I was refreshing Ryan's Letterboxd profile on Thanksgiving, and there was some shit going down. In your life.
There was some shit going down. 4 Christmases.
With Reese Witherspoon.
That movie sucks. The plot, the overarching theme at the end is everyone wants to get married and have kids. Everyone! You're crazy if you don't! Or Vince Vaughn, who is insufferably bad, but deep down, still bad, but he has to.
I forget Vince Vaughn that
He's
exists.
awful!
I forgot Vince Vaughn existed until I
my
saw
mom's
the trailer.
just funny guy. We also watched Why Him with
Bryan
James
Cranston,
Franco
James
and
Franco movie where his daughter is dating the tatted up weirdo.
the peculiar part of that movie is the ending because it's Christmas and James Franco hires 2 of the members of Kiss to play a song, and meanwhile I'm just they're Jewish though. Why are they in a Christmas movie?
I mean, Gene Simmons will take a paycheck.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know they will, but it's still weird.
For money?
Yeah, fuck that.
For money, and also they're older now and the makeup looks weird.
They played at the Gamers' Choice Awards, put that together by CBS.
Oh.
And then we watched
Oh.
what was it? Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bo rap.
All right,
And
well.
then later that night I watched
So you would
Sorry
say.
to Bother You, and that movie's great.
Cool.
Oh, that's a good movie.
That
I
was
was
by
gonna
myself,
say, so
though.
you would say that Bohemian Rhapsody was the best film you saw that day, but nope.
No. It would be a bummer if that was the case.
Well, that was a long episode. We got a lot of
we
stuff
saw a
there
lot
that I
of
didn't
stuff.
see. So that's
I
exciting.
feel like we were just because Karrie saw a lot of stuff on her own. I saw one thing on my own. I feel. I don't know.
Where are we going with that?
I don't know. We all saw different stuff. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were good conversations. So yeah, December, and then it's that's the end of the year. Well, I say that, but January might as well is always wrapped into the last year
Yeah.
because that's when the Oscar stuff
Yeah.
gets released.
Well, and stuff that we didn't get a chance to see in theaters is slowly trickling out onto digital and everything.
But yeah, we're getting close to the end of the year, or the end of the year time we have to reflect. Yeah. So I guess
Exciting
until
things.
then, yeah. Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me on the internet if they type in.
I can't wait for this joke.
At Frying Pans on Twitter. It's spelled like my name, Ryan. It's
With
a
an F
joke.
in front of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that funny?
Karrie, where can people find you?
You can find me on twitter.com at KAR_E Lyles, Lyles.
Real quick, I just remembered, is the sequel to Happy Death Day next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought it was this
Happy
year.
Death Day to you.
And you can find me at jcruzalvarez26 and the podcast at Movies Are Real. If you can rate and review the show on iTunes, it helps us out a whole lot. But until next time, we will see you then in December. Future Merry Christmas. Merry or whatever holiday. Until then,
Merry Nicholas.
Merry Spider-Man, everybody. The Spider-Man. Is there a Santa Claus Spider-Man?